What things do men do that are SY that they don't realize are SY? Carrying as many folding chairs as you can at once. What if that's a very small number of folding chairs? What about a number of very small folding chairs? What about folding a very small chair of numbers? Edit, thank you for the gold kind stranger. Swimming rolled up sleeves. I thought the same thing, here we go again. Look at my husband's bulging arm veins. So hot. Caring for helpless things. This one time a neighborhood cat had little babies in my car and I drove to work and took them inside. My coworkers, all men 18, 24, 50, all took a few minutes to pet them before I drove them home. I thought they were all so precious together and my heart swelled. I rescued a baby bunny from a parking lot at work also. Everyone helped me check on her. You just reminded me of a more endearing memory from my first year out of college. Picture 5 22-year-old dudes who loved smoking spliffs, watching MMA, and playing Call of Duty living together. It was just as ripe and testosterone-y as you're picturing. Anyway, one day a roommate found a kitten in our backyard that had literally been born and abandoned that day, placenta still attached. We rushed her to the vet where they told us she probably wasn't going to make it but gave us formula and medicine to see what could be done. We named her Bird and put together a little shoebox bed for her with warm towels and fed her with an eyedropper. It was really sweet remembering these 5 brothers taking turns sleeping with a kitten in a shoebox in our rooms and doing night feeds because she needed to eat every few hours. Unfortunately, she didn't make it. We took it pretty hard. But apparently mama cats usually only abandon kittens if they sense they're sickly or compromised. My buddy cried on my shoulder at the backyard funeral burial. But we took comfort in the fact that Bird's short life was as comfortable and loving as possible. I'm a man and I'm crying at this. There was a study done in Japan to see what school-aged ladies saw as attractive in their male counterparts, and running fast was like number 1 or 2 for elementary and middle schoolers. So I really should know Naruto run everywhere. How else can you get into Area 51? I hear if you are there to clap alien cheeks they will let you in. An ex said it was hot watching me change her car's oil. I got super turned on when my boyfriend changed my flat tire on my Jeep. His biceps popped when he loosened the lug nuts. He made it look so easy. I could barely stand up to watch him. My knees got so weak. Yes, I rewarded him. My ex told me this too. Changed her tire in 100-degree heat and you would have thought I had walked on water. My best bud changed my tire when I got a flat at his place. I'm a dude and was perfectly capable of doing it myself, but he just goes, no, dude, I got you, and took care of it without a second thought while I chilled. NGL, I get how these women feel, Lamau. It was a stoically masculine moment. I felt loved, taken care of and safe. I drove away thinking, what a guy. I once changed a radiator in my house and that, without doubt, got me more attention and flattery from the women in my life than anything else I've ever done. The trick is, if you keep doing handy stuff it becomes less attractive and more everyday expectation. Learn from my mistakes. Strike the balance. I let the bathtub faucet in the bathroom the wife used leak for 6 months. Didn't help. Look, when I say I'll do something I will do it. You don't have to keep reminding me every single year. I changed the serpentine belt in ex's car. She tried to push me in the car and F me in broad daylight. It did save her $150 though, so it could have been the frugality turning her on. Nah, she might just have been trying to be polite. Better just keep your wits about you and keep looking for signs. One time my wife and I were trying to move this big giant recliner type chair up our stairs and we were having trouble and I said, it's okay, sweetheart, you take a break, and I just picked the thing up and hauled it upstairs myself. She said, wow. So you're saying the times I grabbed the stacked chairs during high school assembly is worth it? AV club girl noticed. Laughed way too hard at this one. My heart does a little flip each time my significant other, ever so slightly, puts his hand on my back when we're walking, to guide me, or if he's trying to squeeze by behind me. I don't know why that gets me fired up, lol. My GF says don't touch me when I do those. Are you dating a cat? You should see his GF knock glasses off the table, one by one, staring him straight in the eyes, when she's pissed. I suppose it might be worth mentioning to any guys out here that this is generally not appreciated by someone if the two of you aren't already dating. This exact answer is also usually one of the top comments in threads on what women dislike that guys do. I think the complaint was mostly where it's done, and by who. Touching the small of the back or the hip by a complete stranger or acquaintance is an obvious no-go. I find men that show their caring, gentle and soft side very sigh, like being gentle with siblings, friends and animals. They make me feel safe. My best friend cried with me when I was sharing about a very emotionally painful thing. If I didn't just melt all over his kitchen floor. Then he cried during a movie we went to a couple weeks later. Just best friend though? That is a complicated answer. But the less complicated answer is yes. So apparently men who read books or sigh was a lie? I've scrolled through all the comments and not one mentions reading. It's all about forearms and hands these days. And rolling up sleeves. Don't forget rolling up sleeves. Maybe rolling up sleeves and reading heavy book to give those arm muscles some work. Pausing and thinking before reacting. It's so hot. A physician I work with always does this and it's very, very attractive. If anyone should practice that habit, it's a physician. It's a trap, fellas. Just live in ignorant bliss. Once you realize swimming is sigh, you will become a self-conscious dork about it and it will no longer be sigh. I annoyingly think about it every time I roll up my sleeves now, when I used to have rolled up sleeves working in cocktail bars every day for years and think nothing of it. Find a shirt with the inside sleeve strap plus button to secure it and it's a biased purchase because Reddit says sigh. Oh boy, the rolling up the sleeves move is a good one though. That and you still have to be attractive to qualify for said sigh things. An ugly person doing any of these things mentioned in the thread is still an ugly person. My wife has told me taking my shirt off with one hand is a thing. That kind of blew my mind. You take your pants off simultaneously with your other hand? This is a hilarious effing image, lol. That is some Mr. Bean sh. There's a scene in Twilight or Swimming where the dude grabs right behind his neck onto his shirt and pulls it off. One-handed, one swift go. That's got a couple girls for me before. Edit. Spelling. I saw this on the cinema for fun and the whole theater erupted with laughter at this part. Getting super excited talking about a nerdy interest they care about. A lot of guys suppress caring about things. Edit. I totally resonate with all the people sharing about their experiences trying to open up and feeling rejected. It sucks. The nerdy topic isn't the attractive thing in and of itself, it is the openness and vulnerability. Like you are so comfortable you can be yourself with your niche things you love. Vulnerability is when you're most open to attack. And it fully makes sense why people have learned to not put themselves out there like that. But, I still love it when it happens. What's Warhammer? Me, takes a very deep breath. I sounds insane but I've found a lot women get really interested in my lovingly hand-painted man-child toys Warhammer figures. They're just pumping you for information in an attempt to woo Henry Cavill. Moaning during S. Moan like, I thought I told you to pull your hair out of the drain. Effing shower is clogged again. You left the car low on fuel and now I have to travel 10 minutes in the wrong direction tomorrow before work. You are useless. Or is it like, oh, yeah baby, just like that. Which is correct. Are you my husband? Can I get a moan to confirm? Being book smart. If I ask my boyfriend a history question and he randomly knows the answer to it, or if I ask about a math problem and watching him figure it out is the hottest thing. Like, yeah, you divide those numbers baby. Divide those numbers and then divide these legs. Why don't we add to the population while we are at it? Not with that username. As a nerd, I am glad to read this, haha. An ex of mine once got turned on when I told her I put a hand on the wall when I pee. I'm not sure I fully understand that one. There is swimming sigh about a hand on the wall. Not according to my wife. She just yells at me for leaving handprints. Maybe I'm doing it wrong? Lol, I've definitely left a handprint above each of the toilets. Either she has a thing for urine, or she imagines you pinning her against a surface while you use your male reproductive organ for swimming besides pee. Who? I heard 1 million power in Rise of Kingdoms gets you any girl you want. Inflation has raised it to 8 million plus. Man, it's been hurting everything. I lost my wife on wedding day because I forgot to adjust for inflation. She told me I had a micro score. My girl told me 800k was enough. That's enough, right? Was getting busy with a girl one time and her head was too close to the headboard, trying to save her a potential concussion. I moved backwards and grabbed her under her hips and lifted her about 2 feet down the bed towards me. The sound she made and the look she gave me is still in my head, lol. Afterwards she brought it up and said it was incredibly sigh how I could just handle and move her around so easily with so little effort. Edit. Lamau. Got some DMs asking about our physiques. I'm 5 feet 9 inches 160 pounds. She was about 5 feet 6 inches 130 to 135 pounds. You animals. A good reason to work out harder. To carry the groceries for grandma. Carry all the bags in one trip, or die trying. Yes, it's so sigh to see a guy's strength in the bedroom. I'm a grown woman and generally not expecting to be tossed around like a rag doll, so it's kind of exhilarating when it does happen. My GF of many years had the same reaction to me, and it still cracks me up. She's not a little one, a hair under 6 feet tall and delightfully curvy, and I'm the first guy she'd had who could just pick her up and toss her around. Respectfully, of course, lol. Being nice to me. Edit, I love how everyone thinks I'm a girl. I'm very much a male, lol. You smell pretty. They said nice, not creepy. You smell respectable. So there was a colleague I had met him at a party randomly before I started at the workplace but was never attracted to him. Well, after I joined, I didn't know a lot of stuff and got bad anxiety every day while working. He started talking to me, like we both would be working on our own thing, and he would ask me the most random questions like if you were an animal, what would you be? Or my favorite color and such stuff that people never ask anymore. And that helped because I would have to stop overthinking, obsessing, and actually think about what he asked. Always calmed me down. And then if we were walking, he would insist I walk on the inner corner rather than on the side of the road. Chivalry, I kid you not, he went from a no one to the only one I was interested in. Also, he never made me feel dumb if I didn't know about something, so I could always ask him anything without feeling anxious. Still the seest man I've ever met. You shoot your shot and get her done? Haha, I was there with a fixed going away date, and I told him I kinda like him way at the end. He never said anything about reciprocating the feeling, but we still kept talking, kinda flirting, and he still behaved as his same amazing self for as long as I was there. Well, you tried at least, and for that I salute you. Some of us dudes are thick as a brick and need to have the move made on us. Respect for doing what you can. Disappointed that the top comment isn't sitting in as many stacked plastic chairs as possible. That's how to be the coolest, not the seest. All the boys understand. Carrying as many foldable metal chairs as possible. I think it's very sigh to see his hands. I always imagine the things he can do to me with his beautiful hands. Why are hands and forearms so incredibly hot? I always thought I was so weird for being attracted to handsarms, but turns out nearly every girl is into it. Maybe they're indicative of lifestyle? Muscles in the forearms, calluses on the hands, the collective arm hair of 20 yetis? I think it's just a sual dimorphism thing. Only fully mature men have big veiny hands. Children and women don't. So when I see it, it's like, ooh, a man. If that makes sense. Same thing with thick sinewy necks, broad shoulders, deep voice, etc. It's probably also true the other way around. I have very small delicate hands, and while women don't notice, a lot of men have commented on them. My BF and I went to eat at this restaurant before we knew we had feelings for each other. While I would talk, he would either laugh or smile, and once while doing so he circled the rim of his glass with his finger. I later found out that he did it unconditionally, but I short-circuited while he did it. Short-circuited is a perfect way to describe how little things like this can feel so intense. Unconditionally or subconsciously? Involuntarily? Please say watch football all Sunday long. Please say watch football all Sunday long. It's almost time. You know when you're out and about and he just casually opens doors for you or walks street side? That. Until it becomes expected and then is no longer appreciated. Which can be said for many nice gestures in a long-term relationship. Why are you people booing him? He's right. My ex complained about it too. It was always expected, and when I stopped doing it she'd be like, you used to do this and now you don't. Next time I did it there was no reaction, no nothing, because it didn't mean anything, because she had to remind me that I didn't do it, therefore it doesn't count. This is the kind of SH that makes relationships exhausting. Being a good dad. Edit. By good dad I don't mean in the general sense that's a given. I mean when I witness special moments and see dads being super involved and sweet with their kids. I've seen dads put stickers on their face to match their kid. I've seen dads who indulge their kids when they want to race them. I've seen dads wearing tiaras with terribly painted nails and makeup, lol. I've seen dads bring their kid in for a big hug when they're upset. Did a breathing exercise with them and tell them it's okay and literally wipe their tears. A dad and daughter were having a tea party at a library. A dad and son came into my store dressed in Ninja Turtle shirts with the headbands on and everything. The other day at work I overheard this little girl tell her dad he's her best friend, and he told her the same thing and argued about who loves who the most, just super cute stuff like that. I'm a lesbian, but it melts my heart to see it and question my sual identity for a split second. Best I can do is uncle who sets bad examples. That's what good uncles are supposed to do, though. Treating me like an actual person. Having good conversation that isn't just sual overture and then letting me know they're interested in me. When a random child interacts with them and they don't act like it's an annoying bother. When they can have an argument without even a subtle threat of violence. When they're industrious at simming. When I can tell their entire self-esteem isn't based off getting me into bed. Most single dudes won't interact with children because there's a huge stigma around it. Of course, it's different if they're a friend's kid, or related to them somehow, but that's the reason why most guys won't interact with kids. Yup, I've been told many times I'm good with kids, but I rarely interact with them outside a controlled environment unless they ask a question. If a woman, no matter the age, compliments a kid, people usually don't think much of it. If a guy does it, it usually tends to raise eyebrows. That being said, if someone passes me with a dog, be it out walking, or in a shopping cart or just like for, you bet your eye I'm gonna ask to pet that pupper. The number of men posting about the things they personally do that are sigh to women is doubly comical given the second part of the question implies they don't know it's sigh. Thread is half my long-term GF likes when I exist, other half is my long-term BF fart so hot. I love when a guy just handles something that otherwise could have been pesky or difficult, even if it's minor, essentially, taking swift charge without being asked. I'm super independent and even from my personal perspective where I enjoy doing things myself. I think it reads like A, an act of service and thoughtfulness, B, a demonstration of capability, and also, C, enthusiasm. That it's taken care of line is just hot. My wife is very excited about your answer. I read it out loud to her and she's cheering. Being kind to animals. I'm 6 feet 4 inches 235. My wife says she thinks it's sigh when I bring in tons of bags from food shopping. I think she says that just so I bring them all in to impress her lol. Nicholas, you should fight crime. This gallon of milk right here, Grandma? You're the strongest boy in the world. Moan during yes, no, being silent isn't manly. Like, you don't have to make any noise, but we love it when you do. You know, I'm realizing I default to silence during and upon thinking about it more, I actually had to consciously learn to make a lot of the reaction noises people normally do, like yelling when something hurts you. I don't know if that's like an autism thing or what, but I guess I have to teach myself to react to stuff too? I think a lot of people do who grew up self-pleasuring in silence lol. But if women can unlearn it, so can men. The left hand on the wheel and the right hand holding mine while driving. British and Japanese people punching the air right now. Oi, don't forget us Aussies. See? Kiwi here, just dislocated my shoulder trying it. My girlfriend was locked out of her apartment and I picked her lock. I picked the heck out of that lock. This is one of those talents we aren't supposed to tell people about. You went to unlock the door and inadvertently unlocked the gates, too. Forklift certified. Check out my OSHA 30 cert, BB. When we were younger and doing renovations in the house, we would always have to stop for a quickie. It must have been a turn on for my wife. Working with me, I know I enjoyed it. We have to redo the living room again, wouldn't we? I think it's on the cards. One time I needed a light bulb changed and my boyfriend reached up, unscrewed it, and put in a new bulb and I about wet my pants. He could just, reach it with no stretching, and he just solved my problem in like 3 seconds. Also, his shirt lifted up a bit when he did it, swoon. Lamau. One-handed steering wheel grip, reverse parking with their arm resting behind the passenger seat. Wanna see something really sigh? Watch me back up a trailer in a straight line. My husband twists his beard, it's a shorter beard, with his fingers while he reads. He ends up with this little horn sticking out. It's god darn precious. I catch myself staring at him and smiling while he does it. Are we seriously not doing phrasing? Helicopter male reproductive organ. Actually, this is probably the opposite. Do you mean I should go counterclockwise? Counterclockwise, you mean? I remember hooking up with this one girl and when she saw my pubic area she said you shave. That's sigh as heck. I never knew that shaving your pubes was such a turn on for women. Fuyu oral S is a lot nicer for the deliverer if the grounds are well kept. That's pretty universal. And the receiver, tongue on skin feels better everywhere. I used to not care about my balls getting licked until I shaved them. A friend once brought up in convo that he shaved his balls. Me, dude, you shave your balls? Friend, dude, have you ever got your balls sucked? Me, friend, yeah,